The App Store can be a scary place. From idle games to gacha RPGs, it'll try to drain your wallet at every turn. Financial fear isn't the only thing making people tremble at the thought of phone applications though. Some are designed to be legitimately creepy and unsettling. Sometimes this means that they have a horror theme, sometimes it means that people can use them for very shady purposes. Of course, it's not likely the cops are going to be kicking down your door for having these apps, but as the old saying goes, better safe than sorry. Hello horror heads and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host Keegan Hughes, and today we're counting down the top 5 scary illegal apps that you should never download. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more terrifying tapping and swiping. Beautiful, let's begin. Creeping in at number 5, we have Japanese doll. If you've ever looked at a porcelain doll and thought, I don't like that, then this app will give you the heebie-jeebies like no other. The goal of the game is to raise a little cursed doll to its full potential. Why anyone would want to do that escapes me, but hey, apparently this is a very attractive prospect to some. The whole app is an untranslated Japanese kanji, so it can be a little hard to navigate. Thankfully, there are some resources out there that translate bits and pieces for the non-polyglots among us. In order to have the doll evolve, you need to collect candles and play with it. The more you play with the doll, the happier it becomes. You better play with it plenty too, as the last thing anyone wants is an angry, cursed doll. As it grows, weird stuff starts happening. It claims to be a real child who at one point was in their mother's womb. In this case, the mother is whoever's playing the game. It could be you. If you manage to grow it to a certain point, it starts to look like a real doll instead of a haunted potato. But then, something changes. The doll claims something is inside of it and that it's in pain. The porcelain on its face cracks and it takes on an aged appearance. Then it goes into full demon mode. Undergoing many transformations, this doll is just about the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Eventually it grows multiple heads and gives you, mother, a choice. You can tolerate and accept the doll, refuse to take care of it, kill it, or embrace it. They all lead to different malformations and mutations, all of which are terrifying. Even being nice to the doll leads to some horrifying conclusions. And of course, some dialogue options let you know that the doll will be with you everywhere, forever, even after you close the app. Always watching you, mother. Coming in at number 4, Girls Around Me. This one is scary for an entirely different reason. No longer available on the App Store, this program allowed you to use publicly available data to track women. Way back in 2012, this app was released to the public and immediately experienced intense backlash. Marketed as a dating app of sorts, Girls Around Me was really just e-stalking software. It merged Facebook and Foursquare data and layered it over Google Maps, giving anyone with the program on their phone a real-time map of women in their area. Creepy, right? But what made it worse was the option to immediately message any of them, bypassing the regular privacy barriers. If you forgot to turn your messages to private only or were lax in your cybersecurity, and let's be honest, who wasn't back in 2012, you could very well be receiving a message from some rando waiting outside your front door. In fact, the app encouraged this. It would urge users to find in person and message nearby girls without girls knowing what was happening. Promotional text read, "Girls Around Me is a revolutionary new city scanner app that turns your town into a dating paradise. Use it to see where hot girls and guys are hanging out in your area. View their photos and make contact." It wasn't like a dating app where you had to sign up in order to be added to the roster. If you had any sort of internet presence, your name, age, photos, and recently visited locations could be collected and exhibited by this app. I can only imagine what the wrong person would do with information like this. Coming in at number 3, Eat, the Revolution. I don't actually know how to explain this one. It's creepy, it makes me uncomfortable. But it's just an app that has you click to eat food. Once booted, you're met with a Gregorian chant of sorts, urging you to eat. Then images of food will appear, shaking against a black background. Tap a few times and take a bite or 4 and listen to some munching, slurping, and gulping sounds. Not completely unlike a certain serial killer with a penchant for fava beans and Chianti. After you complete each piece of food, a message of encouragement will appear. And when I say message of encouragement, I really mean a cultish mantra, something you would chant if the day of reckoning was upon us. Munch upon your salvation. The vastness of the new country calls you. Keep eating, comrade. The text is accompanied by some Ocarina of Time mask salesman sounds, unsettling for sure. As you eat more and more, stranger food items will appear. What was once cupcakes and apples is now raw meat and teeth. But still you eat, and the text pushes you onward. Kill Uncle Hunger. I don't know who Uncle Hunger is, but I sure do want him dead. This is the kind of experience that, while not explicitly scary, leaves you feeling haunted. watched. I can't seem to shake the feeling that someone is peering down upon me as I eat, smiling contentedly. I am part of the food revolution. Coming in at number 2, we've got Like Patrol. Another stalkerish app, but this time more modernized. Girls Around Me almost seems to be a prototype for an app akin to Like Patrol. This is a scraping app attempting to revive some of Instagram's creepiest features. After the following tab was removed because, you know, it was being used by creeps, Like Patrol stepped up and encouraged people to spy and stalk their friends and lovers on social media. Stalkerware, baby, welcome to the future. It scrapes people's data without their consent, monitoring the activities, compiling the data, and sending it to users in a report. The founder wants folks to use this data to keep a watchful eye on their relationships. New guy, new girl? What are they up to on Instagram? Reads the app's website. Oof, how insecure can someone be? And sure, people are insecure, but this is a kind of insecurity created by social media and now is being exploited by tech developers. All in all, it's a very comprehensive way to watch what anyone is doing without them ever knowing. This all flies in the face of Facebook's policies, which is why it got taken off the App Store. Even if you claim that the app itself is harmless, it's easy to see how people could abuse it. People could track location data, see people's contacts, look at call logs, and read messages, all to later be used against the owner of the phone. Surveillance in relationships like this can be used to make things worse for the person with less power. Even strangers could scrape your data. Not something that I'm entirely happy to hear. And finally at number 1, Miriam. So we've discussed apps that are scary and apps that are stalkerish, so who's ready for one that combines all the above? Enter Miriam. This Saudi-produced online horror game is concerning to authorities and social experts throughout the UAE. It's all about a lost child who players are supposed to guide home. While there are scary audio and visual effects, the game also collects personal and private information from the players. The info is then used to scare users even more. The in-game child will ask you personal questions like where do you live and what is your Facebook account. There are even political questions asked, where players are quizzed on their opinions concerning the Qatar diplomatic crisis. The game retrieves photos from social media as well as confidential information on people's phones. While the developer defends these features, claiming that nothing is saved, police have warned that this could be used to fish for information. All of this technological uncertainty paired with a game that feels very haunted culminates in an extremely disquieting experience. Play at your own risk. Now that we've fired through 5 scary apps, I want to know what you think. Which of these scares you most? Have you used any of them before? Will you download them against my advice? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more mischievous ones from top 5 scary cursed games you shouldn't play alone. Pillmatic42 says, a downloadable game called PT. The creator was fired from his previous position, but only after he was worked to the point of exhaustion for them. All of those who've played it are now filled with anguish and despair. Then one day it vanished, never to be experienced by anyone again. Poor Kojima. All he wanted to do was make a scary game, but at least he was able to go on and make the first Strand type video game. Faulty Gear says, nah, the only deal with the Devil Rares ever made was the one with Microsoft. Very true. Nothing scares me more than the horrible, cursed abomination that is nuts and bolts. Kakashi Fangirl 21 says the SCP Foundation had to be involved with Prodigy Priest King, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, that's where it originated. The SCP Wiki is contributed to by a wide variety of folks, all with different backgrounds, interests, and styles. I'm just trying to showcase interesting, relevant stories. Open your mind to the potential of an online horror writing community. Kyle Riedinger says, I'm purchasing Lemon Demon's albums as we speak. Thanks for introducing them to me, they're absolutely amazing. I'm always glad to put someone new onto something cool. Fun fact, the mind behind Potter Puppet Pals is also the driving force behind Lemon Demon. Neil Cicerega knows his stuff. And Leon Lacroix says, is this a challenge or a dare? Both. Just don't blame me if you see something you'd rather you didn't. And that's all the time we have for today. Before I read from the Necronomicon while staying at a remote cabin in the woods, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more questionable content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you manage to grow it into a certain point, way back in 2012, this app was released to the public and immediately experienced if you forgot to turn your messages to private. Not completely unlike a certain serial killer with a penchant for fava beans and chia. This all flies in the face of Facebook's Even if you claim that the app itself is harmless, it's easy to see how people could abuse it. It could easily be used by abusers. Wow, that's really I just said the same thing twice.